Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, September 10th, and we are on the Asian account trying to get at least 2 of these daily quests done. I kinda need to hurry, as I often say. See, I need to get some hunter victories and then maybe try to get some shaman victories. Yeah, if I could just hurry a little bit here, we'll be done with all the news. Otherwise, I'm going to have some stuff left over, which wouldn't be too much of a problem either. Gamatsu has an article, Space Channel 5 VR, Arakata Dancing Show debut trailer. So, Arakata is A-R-A-K-A-T-A, Space Channel 5, I believe, Sega Dreamcast beloved game for its weirdness, or for just the fact that people liked it. Like, I'm looking at this and it looks like there's some weird characters that dance, alien-like creatures, 70s style space and sci-fi fantasy. It seems like what you're doing is you're dancing to battle against aliens, and so it's like dance battles by teams. The animation looks better than what it almost certainly would have looked originally, but it does have a very CGI cell shaded look to it. It's not going for a hyper realistic opinion. I'm seeing a boss battle where they take on the boss and the boss swings over their heads, so they have to duck down in their dance moves. It doesn't look like it's really much of a game, honestly, but I bet people who love it will definitely want to get this. Space Channel 5, I think, also is an example of a game that like so many of the Sega Dreamcast games, lost their platform, and when they lost their platform, they just were not supported in any way that was good.
Don't mess with us.
Actually, I'm looking at this video of a Let's Player playing Space Channel 5, and even then the graphics don't look too bad. It is kind of weird that the dancing games and the music rhythm games haven't died out, but the originators of that genre failed to maintain people's interest, and they moved on to other things. I think part of the problem with Space Channel 5 is probably it doesn't have the music rights, and any of these games all fall apart because they don't have the music rights. So unless you can upload your own music to something, I have a real hard time recommending playing a music rhythm game.
I have enough mana. I hunt alone.
Let's see. Need an animal. Take yours, I suppose.
Job's done.
Next game. Next we have a game on Steam called Journey to Valhalla. It says it's an early access action RPG adventure game. It's a hack and slash adventure inspired by Dark Souls and Necropolis, according to the developer. It looks pretty generic. A little bit of polish has been done to the UI, but I'm seeing mostly just snow on the ground.
hunt alone.
Attack here. Like a generic looking character, generic looking environment. Journey to Valhalla is $4.99. The generic looking UI. The only thing I could think here is if this developer had worked on something previously that they eventually got to work well, but they haven't. So, like, when your first game on Steam is supposedly inspired by Dark Souls and Necropolis, you've overcommitted. Almost
I don't
certainly.
have enough mana.
So close that. So next game we have on Steam is called Mad Restaurant People. English and German game. 43 achievements, $2.99. And so this is just another one of these games where you're doing a job, and by doing the job you're serving food to people. So yeah, I've seen so many of these games and not a single one, not even the original one when it first came out, looked interesting. Mad Restaurant People is $2.99, and it's the only game from this developer.
Hunt alone.
So another tab I can close. I did find a plugin I'll mention called Link Clumpy or something, where I can just click the left mouse button and Z on the keyboard, and then I can draw a box around links and open all of those links. Because of that, I may start getting to the point where I do that for all the What's on Steam apps instead of trying to open them just through checking out my home feed on Twitter. That way, what seems like is happening right now will stop happening, where it feels very much like a small percentage, 1 or 2% of games are just not getting covered. So yeah, I'm trying to change things, trying to make it a little bit more efficient and optimized. The life of a YouTuber is all about trying to find ways to be more efficient and optimized. I was watching a documentary on the making of the Dad Dating Simulator game, which is made by the Game Grumps company, and so I saw some background on just how many employees they had to do the Gaming Grumps, and it's like seven people work to make those videos, and those videos come out, like, is it once a week, twice a week, three times a week? So there's a lot of polish and a lot of work in the background. As a YouTuber who's doing it all himself, I can definitely attest to it would be really easy to get 2 other people working with me to eliminate some frustrations and just allow me to focus on my opinion and making the video content part. And I've certainly said that many times, where just a manager to schedule videos and an artist to make thumbnails and brand. And eventually, I suppose, if my channel got big enough, I might need somebody in charge of just running all my social media accounts and looking at them or looking after them a little bit, so that they can bring things to my attention that I may miss. On the Twitter front, I suppose there was this idea that was getting pushed by people to move from Twitter to Mastodon, but I don't think anybody realistically is going to do that, so I don't really see a reason to. There's a couple of other competitors. There's certainly a lot of people trying to make things that compete with Twitter, but until something comes out and it gets really popular and it has like a free speech bend of some sort behind it, I don't think I'm going to go to it. I don't think a lot of normal people are going to go to it, and I don't see a real reason to move over to some website that's just run by a bunch of celebrities and that's it. Because that's what Twitter was already. Apparently, if you delete your Twitter account after 30 days, it's permanently deleted. I doubt that's really true for celebrities, but allegedly Will Wheaton has been now off of Twitter for the necessary 30 days, so his account is gone, allegedly. Moving on though, I want to rush through this. PC Gamer has an article, the Tomb Raider cosplay ambassadors show anyone can be Lara Croft. And what's interesting here is the two ambassadors being shown is a white female cosplaying as Lara Croft, and then to the right of that is a black burly male doing a gender bent Lara Croft, which I think for the most part there's never been any real complaint about gender bending a character in cosplay. Like, I just don't think that's ever been an issue. What has been an issue in the past is playing somebody who's not your body type. So if you are like incredibly overweight and you're cosplaying Jessica Rabbit, who is drawn to be like impossibly thin, you're going to have to really put in some personality and put in some great effort. I think there's also a lot of complaint about cosplayers cosplaying characters they don't know, wearing outfits they didn't make themselves. There's a lot of cattiness, I think, in cosplay. But what's weird, I would say, here is this seems like this is the only two cosplayer that are being shown, and so this is just like a weird article that it implies there's I don't know if this is actually true or not. It implies that there's some kind of Square Enix endorsement of these cosplayers, and that's what I was wondering about. Is this a case in which PC Gamer just found two cosplayers and that's it? Or did Square Enix, the Lara Croft team, or somebody retweet these cosplayers? Which retweeting a cosplayer is not uncommon for many video game companies, and still doesn't really break down into an endorsement so much. I'm just gonna play everything since I'm gonna lose anyways. So I'm trying to scroll through this article and just see how this came back. Let's see. Like, this article is very weird because it says, the first sentence is, in car accidents, nobody says, you hit me with your car. We say, you hit me. Likewise, when playing Tomb Raider, nobody says, that guy shot Lara Croft. We say, you shot me. Which is odd. Just an odd way to start your article about cosplaying. Next paragraph is more on point. There's a community of cosplayers who specialize in portraying Lara Croft, even adopting her surname on social media. It's from these dedicated fans that the official Tomb Raider ambassadors were programmed. representing her at events like E3 in the build-up of the release of the next game of the series. So, Salem Croft, Saylum, and Raymond Croft were two of those ambassadors this year. To get the obvious out of the way, Raymond does not look like the traditional Laura. I really don't even know what to say about this. Like, it seems just weird in general, but also you're basically saying you got some cosplayers to be booth babes and advertise your game, and you probably pay them nothing to do it. Just so yeah, I really don't know what to take from this other than, yeah, we kind of know that the people in charge of Warcraft right now were trying to push progressive ideology and identity politics. They've been seen doing that a lot. And so they've just gone to a real far extreme at this point, and they have a tall, muscular, African skinned black man playing Lara Croft. What's kind of interesting too is his outfit, when I'm looking at it, covers way more skin than the female ambassador. Like, her shirt is all torn up, and she may have like an undershirt under there, where his is straight up just like full coverage with no real holes. And the female cosplayer looks a lot better in her outfit than he does in his. His outfit actually looks terrible. It's bad cosplay. That's where I could come from this perspective. Is that, like, it looks like something that could have been slapped together very quickly, whereas the female cosplayer looks like she specifically was putting tears and stains and mud and making special belts and making special items and just really getting into the character. So I kind of wonder if this guy really is even on the level of the other cosplayers that were available. Like, because yeah, his costume doesn't look good. It just doesn't. It doesn't look like it has detail on it. Of course, though, I've talked too much about this. This is just a weird story. It's a weird story that just, you know, pushes the identity politics that the mainstream video game media tries to push, and the developers of video games try to push. Neither one of them, by the way, have the iconic ponytail of Lara Croft. So they don't really have their hair right, or wear a wig. The guy, his head is buzz cut with like a, I would say number 2, number 1 buzz cut. So yeah, it's real hard to even say he's cosplaying as Lara Croft. He just looks like some kind of hunter character.
Job's done.
Moving on. TechRaptor has an article, Valkyria Chronicles coming to Switch, and Valkyria Chronicles 4 post-launch roadmap detailed. I think I've already heard this from Gamatsu, so I don't think there's anything new to mention here. Valkyria Chronicles 4 launches on PC September 25th, and the original Valkyria Chronicles launches for the Switch October 16th. So maybe you can't play the original Valkyria Chronicles on PC. Maybe you can. Next we have a TechRaptor article, Meet walking sign golems and traffic knights in Scrapbringer, which seems to be a game that's in development. Looks like it's a top-down hack and slash game. It's coming out for the PC and Switch. This game is, but no announcement date. This is an interview. I guess I'm not a particular fan of interview reports that are question and answers. I would prefer if some different things happened. One more secret to upgrade. Can't right now. Your Gamer has an article. Nintendo. Some Switch games don't support cloud saves to ensure fair play. So,
a clever concoction.
As I've heard it, basically all of the games that are out now will not support cloud save. It was just not even apparently in development when the first generation of games came out. The idea that cloud saving is going to be a vector for cheating when there's just tons of cheating already happening on games like Splatoon is kind of ridiculous. Like, apparently FIFA 19 and Dark Souls Remastered won't support cloud saving even though they support it on other consoles. Let's see.
I hunt alone.
Keep on playing. Remember, to get cloud save you're paying like $20 a year. It says $17.99 in pounds a year, and then you're getting some online play and a library of NES games that haven't really been announced. So yeah, that Nintendo Online service, as it's starting out, is certainly not appealing to people. Does not sound appealing to me, at least. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article. Hand of Fate 2 patch makes significant improvements to combat, changes the bashing, responsiveness, and a new apprentice mode. So that's really interesting. I played Hand of Fate 1 and was planning at some point to play Hand of Fate 2. So the idea that I should have played this first. The idea that Hand of Fate will be a better experience for those people who waited is an interesting idea. And the combat was never great in the first game, but it wasn't terrible. Apprentice mode lets players more interested in playing a deck builder than a brawler breeze through combat, as it automates combat maneuvers like deposits and finishers while increasing player damage output. It also stops weapon charges from resetting during combat, ensuring apprentice players are able to access their powers more frequently in melee. So it's not a complete elimination of fighting, but apprentice mode sounds like a potential option if you really hated the fighting. I don't think I'd probably go that far. TechRapper has an article called "The Non-Fiction Behind Color Fiction's Virtual Vacation Simulator, 0 Degrees North, 0 Degrees West." This is a Play NYC game, so I don't think there's too much that needs to be mentioned here, unless this game actually comes out on PC. We got a game on Steam called Mushroom Rain. is a style of clicker, they say. Yeah, it seems like you're clicking on mushrooms on a screen from a top-down perspective. It's a very limited, like, single-screen game that has used 3D assets to have a field. And it has 8 achievements, and it's 35% off for 64 cents. I don't know why you'd make a game like this. It's not a good-looking clicker game in the sense that you're just not going to have a great experience as you try different things. Let's see. Can I kill... If I killed this many, then I can do this. Now I can try to kill this guy. Like other games made by this developer, just a random assortment of what look like mediocre games. Some are rated positive, but a lot are rated mixed. So moving on, we have a game called DMT Dynamic Music Tesseract, which this is clearly like a drug reference type game with lots of colors and shapes and 3D spirals. It says it's early access, 15% off for $4.24, and it requires VR. And it's the only game from the developer DMT. I'm not sure if you call this straight up trolling or just an extremely low effort game. It feels like it's more of a troll than anything else. Anyways, I have no interest in it. Next we have a game called Choice of Broadsides HMS Foraker, F-O-R-A-K-E-R. It's a text-based game, so I don't have to look at that. It's one of the old text-based games too, where it's just that white sheet of paper background. 40% off for $2.99. I still don't understand how anybody would ever want to play a text-based game. Why not just read a book? Next game we have on Steam is called Desert Rescue. It looks like it's a first-person shooter asset flipping. It's only in simplified Chinese for $18.99. So we can close that. Let's see, what are we making any progress there? What are the other things? Shaman? Or, yeah. I was trying to get one hunter victory, but I guess I'm gonna switch over to Shaman just to keep this a little bit more interesting. We have a game on Steam called The Battle of Ages, which I was gonna pronounce The Battle of Aegis, as in a Japanese term, but that's not what this is. This is, again, like a multiplayer MMO asset flip game where you're fighting Vikings versus wizards versus other things in a kind of poorly laid out environment. It's early access, $4.99. Like, I see two pictures in the recent updates of characters just dancing like Fortnite, which that is kind of how Fortnite has started selling itself, is just, oh, it's all about the dancing. And I'm like, I don't think the reason why people are playing Fortnite is simply because the characters have dance emotes. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. Let's see, we've got a game on Steam called Love Sweet Garnish. It's tagged sexual content, nudity, casual, indie, anime, and cute. I do believe this may be the first game back allowed on Steam that has anime-looking characters that have been approved since they were holding everything back. So this was rated very positive, 100% of 56 user reviews, and came out September 7th. What can we take from this? That they are going with the younger looking anime characters, which is typical in the animation style now. So that is very interesting that the first game I've seen to be approved seems to have all the things I suspected were the things that were holding them back. Love Sweet Garnish is 10% off for $11.69. It has full audio in Japanese, English subtitles. So dating simulators, sex games, anime games seem to be back. We'll see if that's 100% the case, or if just one slipped through, or what. Because there is still a lot of opportunity for something different to be the case. Next we have a game on Steam called Seed of Amaranth, A-M-A-R-A-N-T-H. Tagged casual indie visual novel, story-rich, dark fantasy. What is here seems like it's a Western style of animation. It's not absolute terrible. It is kind of lacking in some shading and some detail in its art style, but not awful. Let's go ahead and do this. And this. So I'm looking at this visual novel. I don't think the art style is quite good enough to interest me. It's only in English. It's in full audio, so any full audio visual novel, if it truly is fully voiced voice actors, every line of dialogue is voiced, that would be great. It's $9.99. Let's see if this developer's made anything else. No, they haven't. So there's a warning at the beginning of the trailer for blood and intense violence, but not nudity. Seed of Amaranth, another visual novel. Visual novels are making a comeback of some sort. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Sargon's Lair, which they say is a 2D roguelike shooter following the story of a lost adventurer spelunking through an ancient cavern rivered with various animals. Can you beat Sargon's Lair and reach the end? It has mixed reviews, 59% of 13 user reviews, and just looking at it, it doesn't particularly look like it's too good of a game. It is free though, so price is not right. The price is right, but even at free, there's still complaints on the quality. Play this. Give me this. Do this. Next we have a game on Steam called Sector 6, which says it's a shoot 'em up, early access indie single player game. I'm trying to watch the trailer. It's a side-scrolling shooter with mostly black and white animation, and maybe it's got some upgrade path or clicker element to it, but for the most part it just looks like a kinda lazily animated side-scrolling shooter game. It's 96%, 95% positive for 21 users. Let's see. Let's end the turn there. 140 achievements seems like way too many achievements, so this is probably an achievement game, and that would explain the high reviews. It's 40% off for $5.99. That would certainly also explain the high price if it's an achievement game. So, closing Sector 6, which is to say that at this point there's been 2 games that have made it to my wish list over the weekend, but that's not super surprising either. Like, there's a considerable amount of bad games I imagine they get released on weekends. Next game we have is a game called Shoot-No Shoot. It looks like it's a horribly animated shooting range for maybe VR? Yeah. Which I could get that. Practicing shooting in VR might be helpful. But there's also definitely a level of issue here. So it's showing silhouettes of different people that you decide to shoot or not shoot, and they hold different things up as if they're holding their hands up and like, don't shoot me, or they're holding a knife up. It doesn't seem like you even pull the gun in any noticeable way. It seems like there is no explosion, no muzzle flash or anything when you actually shoot these characters, so there's no practicing your targeting while also deciding whether you should be shooting at somebody or not. Anyway, Shoot for No Shoot is $4.99, and for the level of quality of animation, I think that's really good. I kind of wish there was a police training tool like this, but it is also kind of ridiculous to expect the taxpayer or a police officer to own a $600 VR headset in their house. Maybe you do that kind of training in one headset for the entire precinct. Might make some sense, but like a lot of the practice stuff also seems to have this after effect of just making police always feel that every incident is going to end in a shootout, which causes way too many incidences to actually end in shootouts. So I'm not sure if police even really need to practice shooting guns more than they need to practice training for de-escalating situations. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Simplex Mundi, M-U-N-D-I. Says it's a free-to-play action indie casual game.
Converting stored energy.
Seems like it's running around just shooting people. With probably a single player, so you're running around shooting AI things with some pretty generic, simple polygonal characters. I don't see anything here that would interest me. It's free, so at least the price is right, but free games don't go on my wish list just because they're free. In fact, very rarely do I bother to cover a game like that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do this. And this. And we'll start taking out some people.
Job's done.
Next game we have on Steam is called Dimetrosaur, Dimetrosaur. It's an MS Paint looking animated game. It's 10% off for $9.89. I wouldn't pay 69 cents for this game. It's the first game from this developer. So moving on from Dimetrosaur. Next we have a game called Land of Puzzles Battles, which I am fairly certain is from a developer who's made a ton of Land of Puzzles games that are all the same. It's just a tile sliding puzzle game that looks bad for 40% off for 59 cents. You see, I'm definitely not getting victories that I'd like to be getting right now. But we're approaching the end. We've got a game on Steam called She is Mermaid. Let's see, it's tagged indie visual novel. It says She is Mermaid is a visual novel developed jointly by Japanese and Korean team. After having been regarded highly among players, the PC version is finally here, centered on the links, legends, and stories of mermaids and experience of an amazing summer vacation with the lovely mermaids. Now, I'm not seeing any tags of nudity or anything like that, so it seems like this is a clean version. Maybe there is a patch or something. There are 2 achievements here. English language not supported. Only Japanese and simplified. Let's see.
The calm before the storm. The calm before the storm.
There is little time.
And do this. I don't know why I'm even scrolling down on this game. If it's not in English, it's not in English. Should just move on. Seems like it was a pretty bad release because there's a note here about how they had to delay the release in China, which they probably got out just at the right time, because I wouldn't be surprised if at this point it would never get released in China. Next we have a game called Meteor. It says it's an action RPG racing adventure game. This looks like a Windows 95 game, whatever it is. Like, it's a first person shooter with some just random things. So it's really, really bad looking. $24.99 for something I wouldn't even pay 60 cents for. Wow. Wow, somebody is totally joking themselves on that one. There's a game on Steam called Enter the Moon. It's breathtaking real-time 3D explore geological aspects, battle against spaceships, enter the International Space Center. So it's supposed to be like a space flying game of some sort. doesn't look like it has quite enough polish on it to be a fun-looking game. There's too many bad-looking UIs around. The planets and the moon and all of that look very good, which makes me just assume that it was pre-bought assets of the planets. But everything around that just doesn't look good. Enter the Moon is 25% off for $22.49. First game from this developer, which that's way too ambitious of a game for your first release. Let's see, next I have a game called Don't Touch Me. They say it's a fast-paced third-person experience where the goal is to not get touched by any zombies. So it's a like run away from zombies game. With a bunch of random things placed everywhere. So like they built survival maps where you're just running.
I wonder.
I'm thinking you would have fun for maybe 2 minutes running away from a zombie, and that's kind of it. I earlier said I started playing Dead Space 2. At the very beginning of Dead Space 2, you're in a straitjacket and you have to run away from necromorphs. I literally died on normal twice before I could get through that introductory cutscene, and I really wasn't having fun with that. So yeah, in any zombie game I could see specific points where it might be kind of funny and kind of cool to run away for about 2 minutes, and then that's kind of it. After that point, it's not fun anymore. So Don't Touch Me is $3.99. It looks bad. It looks like a bad concept, and it's the first game from this developer. Now, this next puzzle might be the end of this series of games, now that high-quality sex games are going to allegedly be allowed on Steam and filtered properly. So Hentai IQ Puzzles is on Steam. It's a tile-based puzzle, probably having you solve puzzles of pictures that they probably don't have the license for, if I was to guess. It's really bad one-screen Unity looking game. 49 achievements. I wonder if this is part of an experiment to not go the full 100. 40% for 59 cents. And trading cards are getting mentioned here, but they're not going to get trading cards. Trading cards are done with at this point. This developer's made several other games, but none of them would even rise above the level of saying that they were low quality games, low effort games. Next we have a game on Steam called Cat Warfare, which might be a game. It's a little rough looking in the animation. Seems like it's a first person shooter of some sort, where you're playing as cats shooting each other. Yeah, so I would say this is probably an asset flip troll game. Playing as actual cats, not anthropomorphized cats or human-like cats. Just cats on their forelegs with a cannon attached via vest. This is the first game from this developer. It's no discount for $4.99. I don't think Cat Warfare is a game worth playing. We have a game on Steam called Virtual Reality. It's 100% positive with 38 user reviews. It's a VR game, I believe. So yeah, it requires a VR headset. 33% for $10.04. Oops. I already talked about this game actually, virtual reality. It's the one where you can suck up the entire environment around you, and it seems to be a weird collection of just random things you can do in virtual reality. Kind of almost a slightly interesting way to do an asset flip game in VR without being too obvious that it's an asset flip in VR. But easily skippable by me. PC Gamer has an article, System Shock Enhanced Edition update adds 4K and official mod support. The source port update rebuilds the game from its original code, which is really cool of an idea, and certainly if I ever get around to playing the original System Shock for the first time, there's a chance there that I'll have more to say about that. Okay. Just kill this one. Attack this one. And then return. Let's see, what did Dying Light have to say? Why do I have Dying Light's Twitter out? Oh, Dying Light was the Twitter people who retweeted the In Memory of John Bain, aka Total Biscuit, sale from Chrono Deals. Chrono Deals not a company I talk about too much. They're offering discounts on a bunch of games that John Bain liked, and all proceeds go to the @CC Alliance, Collateral Cancer Alliance, Colorectal Cancer Alliance, which that's not what I thought. Oh, that was a charity chosen by Gina Bain, so apparently there was some miscommunication there. I thought it was actually going to her. Which, in that instance, since Gina Bain, the surviving widow of John Bain, also has cancer, I really don't. I don't wouldn't complain about giving it directly to her. Particularly when it's like something that's happened to you and it's in no way was your fault, like a disease. A lot of times, people. Well, I mean, honestly, that's just a bad way to look at things too. You should either be charitable and give, regardless, or not. But sometimes people try to take advantage, and I try to keep an eye out for that. Eurogamer has an article. Insomniac offers to patch out the ill-fated marriage proposal in Spider-Man. The Easter egg, quote, the Easter egg is probably the saddest Easter egg in a game. So this person, I guess I'm not going to name him, approached Insomniac and asked if he could put "Will you marry me" on in the game, and they did put it on a theater marquee as a proposal. And this is why you never do a proposal publicly until you're frankly, I don't think you ever do a proposal publicly. What you do is you propose privately and then say let's ham this up and do a public proposal too, and fake it. Or, you know what, on the other hand, if somebody is dumb enough to propose publicly, I think you say yes then in public, and then you say no later. But the proposal fell on deaf ears because his girlfriend allegedly left him just a few weeks before the game was released, so he was nowhere close to the point where he should have proposed, and he probably dodged a bullet. I had heard, and I don't know if this was a joke or not, that she dumped him and was now dating his brother. Which I don't know if that really adds any insult to injury, but it probably does. But yeah. I think Insomniac and other companies need to take a lesson from that. It was never really a good idea to do these little Easter eggs and marriage proposal things. Like, you really aren't getting the full story. You're not going to go hire a private eye to investigate their relationship and say, hey, is this really what this guy thinks it is, or is this guy really a stalker? Because that's the worst case scenario, is that somebody who's a stalker who has like a restraining warrant against a lady or a guy, whatever gender, puts a "will you marry me" type message in a game, and then that's just adding to the trauma that this person is dealing with. And frankly, it's just not worth your time and effort as a business. There literally should have been nobody in advertisement that said, I have 5 seconds to do this and try to get this to work. Moving on, TechRaptor has an article. Runblade is the latest turn-based RPG to hit Nutaku. Nutaku being the adults-only video game website that partners with TechRaptor. And let's see. Still not really sure Nutaku as a company. It seems like they're basically making their own games.
Job's done.
I'm not sure if they're making the highest of high quality. I'd say Runblade looks really high quality. Let's see, of course, every time I click check it out from here, it's going to take me to the full section so we can see all the naughty bits, which is all that really they've got to sell for themselves. Yeah, Runblade looks more, I'd say, on lines of a good quality game that could have been a cell phone game, but I bet when you start to compare it to something like, ooh, what would be a good example? Let's do this. When you start comparing it to something like Final Fantasy or anything that's slightly more interesting, it probably in no way
Unity, precision,
stands up to that criticism or that comparison. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article. Skyrim mod Indriel has its own Steam page. When it's released, you'll be able to play Indriel without interfering with Skyrim saves. Interesting. Indriel is a total conversion mod for Skyrim. Interesting. I guess now with Steam Direct, though, anybody and everybody can have as many Steam pages as they want. We already talked about that one. PC Gamer has an article. Batman Arkham developer Rocksteady is hiring for a highly anticipated AAA game. New job posting suggests an announcement could be imminent. I'm not sure what it could be other than another Batman game, though. Like, what else could Rocksteady be working on? That's an interesting thought. Let's see. Eurogamer has an article. The PC beta has been confirmed for Overkill's The Walking Dead. So, that's... PC beta is going live on the 9th of October.
Engaging TC-130, mental dislocator.
the one I didn't need. Still not 100% sure that this Overkill's Walking Dead is going to be the Walking Dead game I would want, but it's probably a lot closer than the Telltale games at this point. I'm done with the Telltale games. I have one more season to play, but I'm mentally done with them. Steam has a game called NASCAR Heat 3. It's mostly positive, 71% of 42 user reviews. I think with NASCAR in the name, it probably is a pretty decent game for $49.99 if you want to play NASCAR games. Now, there certainly is a question about why would you specifically want to play NASCAR, which NASCAR is the racing where you just go in circles over and over again on generally circular tracks. Let's see. Can I survive this? I guess I'll put NASCAR Heat 3 in my wish list just to keep an eye on it. I'm at the Humble store, but I have a couple of tabs that are on the other side of that tab. So I'll just look at the Humble store right now and see that there's no game bundles. There's a horribly simplistic game called Slither Link on Steam. It seems like it's a generic one-screen Unity puzzle game for 99 cents. I like the concept of what I think this puzzle is. I could be wrong about what it is, but I would really need to see more polish on it to play a game like that. Alright, and that's just talking about Dead Space Severed DLC. So, Dead Space 2 Severed DLC, and trying to figure out how to deal with that content, or how much of that content you can actually get into the PC version of Dead Space 2. Fantasy RPG Caravan Stories coming to the PS4 in 2019 in Japan. No real more information there. It's a free-to-play fantasy RPG currently available for smartphones and PC in Japan. So it's just coming to the PlayStation 4. It's already been out for a PC and smartphones. Where are we here? I actually desperately need to get a Hunter victory still. Alright, one more Hunter game. Yakuza Studio announces Project Judge for PS4, according to Gematsu. Due out in Japan in December, in the West in 2019. They are calling it a legal suspense action game. Western working title.
Let the hunt begin.
Or Judge Eyes Shinigami no Yugon. Which Demon of the Yugon, whatever the Yugon is. See, is there a trailer here? So it kind of feels like it's just a 3D version of
The light protects me.
some of the lawyer games and mystery games that we've seen, with more of an animation style and idea of the Yakuza series. So I guess in this case that makes sense too, that the Yakuza developer might decide to make a game where you play as the good guy instead of the bad guy, which you're pretty much always playing as the bad guys in Yakuza, even if you possibly are working undercover or something. I bet this is not as big of a game as the Yakuza games, but it looks very, very similar. You're street fighting and following people and doing some just basic story things. And then Gematsu has this interesting article, mysterious game company Tokyo Games, T-O-O space K-Y-O, which I guess you could pronounce Tokyo Games, has been established. It's led by the noted great game creator, who, Yoko Taro, maybe? Like, by certain well-known game creators, seems to be all that anybody in English can get from this, which is weird. So that they're making a real mystery here of who this new person is, and probably it's going to be. Here's an update. It appears our initial guess of it being Yoko Taro was completely wrong. 2 more creator comment videos have been uploaded featuring Grasshopper manufacturers Pseudo 51 and Bokura's Yoko Taro. So. Who is it? They're certainly having their fun with this and teasing people about who this person is. Wouldn't it be crazy if it was the former president that stepped down and retired from Nintendo? But that's hardly not a video game creator. It would be stranger if it was like Miyamoto did it. And we've got a game on Steam called Burning Instinct. Let's see. Playing as a dragon. Graphics don't look that good. Looks like it's a generic platformer. It's 5% off for $5.69. And it's the second game from this developer, so I don't really trust it. Good. So now that fixes my list of things on Steam and all my articles. Alright, so now I'm back to Twitter. This will be the last game of the stream. I really want to win, but at this current point I don't see how you could do that. Randy Pitchford just tweeted 2 hours ago, any flat earth believers follow me and would like to be open to a conversation with me about it. Interesting, but stupid. Like, just come on, you're the CEO of Gearbox. If you're not talking about Gearbox, you shouldn't be tweeting at all. You should have your own secret Twitter feed, or like, he seems to always cause himself some consternation. And of course, the problem with anybody claiming that they're a flat earther is there's a 78% chance that they are a troll. Well, I could scroll down my Twitter feed, and there are definitely at least a few new things that I could talk about, but I can just keep those for Wednesday. So we've gone for 3 streams. Everything worked out pretty well. Hopefully everything worked out pretty well. Hopefully the audio wasn't too loud with the new Windows 10 setup. It was a quiet Monday. Didn't get anybody on the chat. I kind of wish more of that. Like we'd get more people on the chat in general. But also now that school's back in for a lot of kids, I'm not sure if I'm just going to lose views more and more. Or maybe I'll gain views. I don't know. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. I'll probably... Yeah, I'll have to play offline is what I'll do. I'll not do this. But I'll have to play offline and just get a Hunter and Mage victory. Just play it on casual. And then I'll save everything else for Wednesday. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game, or you can support me via Patreon. Links down below in the description also. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.